sooner than this. And my cough worsened instead of getting better. So
Right.
that was like my red flag that something was up. It no longer felt like the regular flu.
Wow. So what you went to the hospital? Did they keep you?
So in terms of hospitalization, I was able to stay home and I just nursed it myself. I tried everything under the sun because at this time I had no clue what I had. It was just, NyQuil, whatever remedies that I'm relatively healthy, so I know my state of health helped me fight that fight. But at that point in time, I had no clue what I had.
So were you home alone, taking care of yourself?
Yes, for the most part, I was. I had 2 children, and I did have help, with my boys. But for the most part, I was alone through it, and I just took care of myself the best way that I could. And that was pretty much the first part of being sick with COVID-19. And then everything else happened later in terms of even finding out what I had.
Okay, so after you having the experience and you are in your room and you alone, like what type of feelings were you having? Were you just feeling alone, sad? Just the fact that you can't see your boys too.
Well, at that time, I was just out of it. I was just really trying to just get my second win, to just feel like myself. So at that moment, it was like I couldn't think about anybody else or anything else. It was really just like, when is this feeling going to go away? Because for a person like myself, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm always on the go. When you knock down with COVID-19 knockdown, you ain't getting up. As mad, I mean, it's good as you are, as many affirmations as you can tell yourself, as positive as you can be, you're not getting up. And I know tired because I'm used to 12-hour days, honey. I'm used to working, but that tired was a different tired. It was knocked down, out for the count type of feeling. So at that time, it was just really for me, just trying to get through that.
Wow. So how many days how many days did you have COVID as far as being in bed rest and being confined into your room?
So I would say out for the count, a total of 5 to 10 days.
Wow.
Right? And in terms of being quarantined, 14 plus days. So when I first experienced symptoms of COVID-19, it was right before March 16th. I'll never forget because it was the day that I had to shut down my business as we were on our forced lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my first symptoms was I just woke up one Thursday morning and I felt lethargic. I'm used to being tired, like I said, but this was something different. When you're used to pushing your body to extreme limits, teaching 3 fitness classes a day, all of that, you know the difference, but this was different. So I pulled out, I began to cancel my clients one after the other, and I just had to rest. So the moment I felt better, that was like a Thursday. By Saturday, I was teaching aerobics and working out again. This whole time, I had COVID-19 and had no clue. So I was fighting through this virus as I would fight through everyday life.
Right.
Like, girl, you got this, like, let's go. After a while, those pep talks wasn't working the same anymore. And that's how I knew it was something else. So as soon as I felt better, I was back at work. By that following Monday, I got hit again, like I had gotten hit by a truck. And that was it. That was right when my gym had closed down. So it was okay for me to begin to rest. And that's when I just had to rest. I couldn't do anything. I was out for about 5 days straight then. So it hit me once. I fought through it, not knowing what it was. And then like 3 days later, it hit me again. And it took me down that time.
Oh, goodness. So with you going through this experience, your kids were around you too?
Yes. At that time, yes.
So they never develop any symptoms or anything?
No, thank God. No, they did not. And my caregiver, my nanny that helps me with them as I'm working, she began to feel sick. Oh. And I was nervous because by this time I had known that I tested positive. I was quarantining myself and I was nervous for her. And let me tell you, she's from the Philippines and she started using remedies. Her mother was, on Skype with her, like, listen, put your head over, something hot, absorb the steam, medicate yourself, lemon tea. I mean, we were trying everything because at that time there's no rooms at the hospitals. The only way you would go seek medical attention is when you no longer can handle it yourself at home. You have, record-breaking fever and feelings of pneumonia. The CDC and my doctor recommended me to stay home and pretty much fight it out. Right. And all you could do is watch the symptoms of your children and your loved ones, the people you live with, to just monitor if you're infecting them. That's all you can do.
Did they prescribe you any type of medication?
No medication. It was just monitor my symptoms, because there really is no medication from just the knowledge that is out there, what I've seen, what I've been told. There is no medication for this.
Right.
It's Tylenol for headaches, to break fevers, it's resting your body. So you really have to, besides the proven, factual information that's out there, you really have to combat it with what you know best in terms of how do you get through something.
Right. Like using home remedies, really.
Yes. And to add to that, your physical state, the condition that you're in physically at the time of the onset, at the time of contracting a virus such as COVID-19, also makes a huge, huge impact in how your body is able to fight off the virus. So I know, making reference to my lifestyle and what I do, right. I know that there was favor, over my life. I'm spiritual, and I believe that as well.
Right.
I also know for a fact that my physical state, my health, helped me fight COVID-19.
So what remedies did you use while you were home?
NyQuil, Dayquil, Theraflu, vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, a vitamin supplement that I take every day. For the most of the time, I couldn't eat. I really didn't have a desire to drink, but I kept myself hydrated. I definitely couldn't eat, had no sense of taste nor smell. So it was just more my vitamins, natural things that I would normally give myself, and rest. That was it.
Wow. That has to be a rough experience. It's just sometimes, everybody caught COVID in a different form. Right. And it's just so many ways. Could you tell me a little bit more about yourself so the viewers will know who you are?
Okay, my name is Tamika. I'm the owner and creator of Body by Tamika. I have a fitness and body contouring business where I help people pretty much rehabilitate themselves, starting with fitness.
Okay. So you were born and raised in South Jamaica, Queens?
Yes, I was born and raised in South Jamaica, Queens. That's where my roots are from, South Jamaica, always and forever. Now I live in the suburbs of Long Island, and I occupy Nassau and Suffolk County and Queens in terms of my business reach.
That is really nice. So I saw that you were raised in an inner city where violence were, active, heavy. Yes. So Can you tell me some of that experience of you growing up in a neighborhood like that?
Well, I say this all the time, but it's true. Like, as cliche as it sounds, I was raised when the community was raising the children. Like, they still was involved. So growing up in the inner cities, in the ghetto during the 80s, for me during that time, it was like we didn't have much, we didn't have everything, but we had community. So because of that, I was still able to find a way for myself. I was still able to have aspirations and work towards something, because whatever you lacked at home, it was like it was there, Yes, it was in our schools. It was in the little lady that volunteered to cross you across the street in the morning, before school, the lunch attendant who was grandma that volunteered. Like, that's the era that I grew up in. And that's why support is like so important to me.
Yes, it definitely is. And speaking of support, your mother, you give a lot of credit to your mother.
Yes.
So she's your huge supporter forever.
Yes, yes. My mother she's a strong woman and she's also a very good cook.
Really?
Yes. So let me tell you, part of my journey with fitness is I grew up overweight. My family is from the South, and our cultural foods is what they are. And my mom can throw down. Like mac and cheese, collard greens. At that time I ate pork when I was a kid, so pig feet. I mean, we had whatever. It was our food.
Yeah.
And we celebrated every Sunday. That was our ritual. It's something that we did. Many families still practice that.
Yes.
Not as much as before. I think we're kind of transitioning out of that, but that's where it all started from. So growing up with all of that and being overweight, I started my fitness journey when I was 16. And that's when I was that was my first experience joining a health club, losing weight. It was my first time having the opportunity to turn around my childhood obesity.
That's really good. So what are some of the failures that you experienced? Because I see that you have experienced a lot of failures throughout the years of your life.
For me, I would say more adversity, than failures. Like that's my mission right now. For many, they're the same thing.
Yeah.
They're one and the same. But for me, my mindset, especially after COVID-19, I mean, I had one heck of a mindset to begin with.
Yeah.
Girl, it's like, oh, it's something different. So back to your question, my failures, my adversities have taught me that sometimes you just have to kick the doors down. Like everything that you need, all of your desires, most of it is not going to be handed to you on a silver platter.
You got to work hard.
You have to work hard. You have to work hard along the way. There's going to be some bruises. There's going to be some Band-Aids needed. A lifeline phone call, 2 or 3. It's going to be a ride. But each failure has made me stronger.
Yes.
I mean, I went from you capable to you superwoman. Like, certain things in life, you survive them, like COVID-19, and you feel like you are just capable of all greatness. So that's what it's taught me. Like, listen, that didn't break you. Okay. The second one didn't break you. So it's like, well, listen.
Ongoing level up.
Exactly. Like you're still sitting after one knockout to the second knockout, 12 rounds, and you still going. Okay. I think you found your purpose now. Things didn't knock you down. I don't think anything is going to.
Right. It's like what else could you do?
I've seen it all, been through it all. Like what else do you have? And in terms of relation, I think that's the way I took on COVID-19. I'm telling you, that's the way I took it on. First, before being tested, I didn't know that I had it. I just knew I was sick. Right. So I think like a client of mine has it now, and I've been coaching her through things to do.
Wow.
I think that because I didn't know I had it, I wasn't knocked down by the fact of knowing.
Okay.
Sometimes
that you can't let it control your mental state of mind because your body starts to react to it.
Exactly. And that's the same advice that I've given anyone who has crossed my path, who has it or had it, and asked me, what do I do? It's mental is closely associated with your body's ability to fight, So not knowing that I had it right away, it didn't put me in negative mode. It didn't put me in self-doubt mode, So I know for a fact that played a part. And then by the time that I found out that I tested positive, I was already to the point where I had something to be grateful about. I wasn't hospitalized by that point. Because if the virus would have progressed the way that we've seen, right, there's a chance that I would have needed to be hospitalized. There's a chance that I could have been on a ventilator. There's a chance where I would not have been in a position to have this conversation right now. So already a week or so into it and finding out that I tested positive And I knew, okay, I can get better through this because it hasn't worsened.
Right.
Right away, I just shifted into second gear. And it was like, okay, you're going to fight this the same way you fought X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that was my mindset. And the first day I felt well enough, I taught a virtual cardio kickboxing class.
Yeah.
I'm not knocked down no more.
What?
I don't know what's gonna knock me down. So
what you did that like the following week?
Yes, the following week, the first day I felt good again. Because now you got to remember the timeline. What's happening, right?
Right.
Closed. If I had one more client text me and say, Tamika, when we going to Zoom? When we going live? I'm like, I'm over here fighting for my life, and y'all worrying about how y'all going to do that. You know, like
they probably know your strength too.
Huh?
They know your strength.
Exactly.
You know? And then with you coaching them, telling them, come on, y'all, get up, work that, you know.
They think I don't never fall down.
Yeah.
So it's funny now because now they know. So they'll check on me and they're like, we checking on our trainer, you know, because, and that's exactly it. They so used to me being so strong and ready to go, you know. So like a week after, like I said, this is about the 10th text message from someone. Okay, when are we going live? Everybody's going live. So I'm like, listen, in the back of my mind, I'm like, let me get my life. I'm over here, you know, on the edge, right? So the moment I felt strong enough, I'm pretty good at listening to my body. So the moment I felt strong enough, I said, let's do it. And I felt myself like sweating it out of my body more. I began to cough up a lot of phlegm. The coughing still had like rocked my chest for days. That was one of the worst things that I felt. Like my coughs would be so violent that it would like literally like vibrate my inside.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you. Did it do that? And you know, you feel it real deep into your chest too.
So before, when I was really sick, it was the worst. But when I began to work out a little bit towards the end, I noticed it was opening up my lungs more and faster, in my opinion. Yeah. So right away, I know that the fact that A, mentally, I didn't let it knock me down. And B, as soon as my body felt strong enough, I went right back to the healthy lifestyle choices that has gotten me this far.
So what was the first meal that you tried to see if you will be able to keep it down?
I remember. I had ordered takeout. It was like salmon over a salad and a side of shrimp. I remember. And it was the first meal from, I ordered it locally. It was the first meal that I was able to actually taste what it tasted like.
I know you was in heaven.
It's so funny because my client, you know, we can be more optimistic now because she's fighting and she's getting through this thing. Okay. I've already claimed it. I already said it. And I've been coaching her the entire time. She's like, Tamika, you didn't let it knock you down. She's like, I'm about to go in my gym, get on the bike for 20 minutes. I said, listen, you feel well enough. You go and do it. Sweat that thing out. Put on a sweatshirt. I got a steam in her face, taking meds, everything. So anyway, a joke, she sends me a picture of the scale. And she said, Tamika, you got me under 200 pounds. Because she started at 230, right?
Okay.
And it was 199. So she said, you got me under 200 pounds. I wanted to say COVID helped you with the pounds, you know, update. Because like myself, I know for a fact she can't eat. She can't taste. You know, we do. So as soon as I was able to taste again, I remember that meal.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
And so, you know, as you just coming off of it and you trying to get back to your normal life, did you really just take it slow? You didn't rush yourself because you were very energetic.
Well, okay. To the average person, I rushed myself. I know they would say that, but I am really good about listening to my body.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I really truly feel that me working out as soon as I felt better, I felt like, okay, it probably would have taken me, let's say, another 3 to 5 days once I actually started feeling better to feel like I felt getting right back to my workouts.
Okay.
The workouts really helped me open my lungs. I was feeling it happening while it was happening. Like it was weird, you know? But It helped. So I feel like me getting back, and I got back relatively at a decent pace. I feel like it all just helped me overall.
So how is it right now in New York? Like, what is that? How's everything going there?
People are having a hard time staying put. Let's just like I feel collectively, tapping into my virtual community and things like that. This is my honest opinion of what's happening in New York and what's happening just all across the country right now. Some of us are finding opportunities in adversity. Some of us are being proactive with what we're experiencing. And for many of us, it is knocking us down like a ton of bricks.
Yes.
And I think the first month into it, maybe some more people are kind of getting a little momentum now and a little bit more of an oomph. But for me, it has knocked us down.
Yeah.
For every one person that you have who's like opportunity in adversity, you got, I lost my grandmother yesterday.
Yes.
You know, my husband's out of work and his unemployment hasn't started yet. You know, because many of us New Yorkers, let's talk about it now. People filed for unemployment over 6 weeks ago and have not received one check. You know, so there's a lot of adversity happening right now. People are suffering. But for many of us, we are resilient. You know, that's that New York mentality.
Yes.
And many of us are resilient. And what my goal is to use my resiliency to help other people become more resilient during this time. And I think that you using your platform and everyone out there who has the ability to do so, I think that that's what we have to do now more than ever, because people are suffering.
Yes, they're suffering really bad. How long will you guys be on quarantine? How far out?
Well, it's like every 2 weeks at a time, week by week basis. So I predict into June, I feel like they're going to slowly start lifting some of the bans and restrictions.
Okay.
That's my opinion, but we really don't know. So with that being said, right, we don't know. So we have to focus on the things that we have control over.
Right. So what are your plans for yourself once it is lifted? What precautions are you going to make since you are an experienced COVID-19?
Well, definitely wearing my face mask as I'm around other people, still practicing social distancing. Whatever the rules are, that are outlined by the government, I'm going to follow them, because I know why they're there. And they're there to protect us, for the most part, to a great extent. So I'm definitely going to follow through with that, continue to take precautions in my gym. I mean, we were cleaning things down every day, almost after a client touched it. We will go back to those same practices in the gym, to keep ourselves safe and to keep our clients safe. So just going right back into just practicing proper precaution.
Yes.
And just ready to take on what's ahead,
Yes, it definitely, because it's kind of scary. Like ours will be lifted May 1st.
Okay, so you have a date, and where are you calling in from?
Akron, Ohio.
So May 1st. Oh my gosh, that's in a day, 2 days.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm not even ready. I'm not even ready for that.
I'm not ready at all. I don't want to go nowhere. And I was traveling real heavy before this happened. Like I was literally going somewhere 2-3 times a month.
Okay.
So now it's to the point, like when it first started happening, I went to Georgia. I had a mask on. The guy was like, "What do you have that on for? What's going on?" I don't know what's going. He was scared to death.
Okay, but you were ahead.
Yeah, I was ready. I was ready, but now
I became ready.
Yeah, so now it's to the point I'm scared to go anywhere because it's not over, and it's still going around. They don't have a cure for it or nothing.
Yes. The worst is not behind us. I agree with you. I think the best that we can do is protect ourselves, wear our masks, wash our hands, everything that we touch, every moment that we can. And truly, it's not like, oh, here's another way to plug fitness. Oh, here you go again, because all fitness professionals, we get accused of plugging it in wherever it fits, which is not always the appropriate time or place. But this is the time where protect yourself, practice precautionary measures, but it's also the time to start to make better choices in terms of nutrition and health. Because one of the best ways, the quickest ways to build the body's immune system is through the foods that we put into our body, So starting there, I'm not saying you got to get ready to go run a marathon and lace up your running sneakers that have dust on them,
Right.
I'm not saying you have to attack it like that, but just starting to focus on the things that we do have control over. And that's our nutrition, starting with the body, because all we have is immunity and precautionary measures.
Yeah. And we have to.
That's it. Or other than that, you're going to be stuck in your house and you're going to be too afraid to go anywhere.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
So how has business been, with you being in quarantine and everything, as far as
I want to start a GoFundMe account. Who wants to be the first person? Is broke. No. I didn't want to speak those words over my life. I take
it all the way back.
My sister is financially challenged. I am financially challenged right now. But you know what? God is good. I have everything that I need. I may not have the extras.
Right.
I have everything that I need. And like I said, I want to uplift my community. My goal is to turn adversity into opportunity. That is my saying for the rest of the week. And yes, I've been hit by this thing. I've been infected by this thing. And economically, I've been hit by it because it closed my business down.
Right.
So if anybody does have an idea of what it's like to live through COVID-19, I think I do.
Yes, definitely.
On the flip side, it has forced me to connect with my virtual community.
Yeah, it does, because you could give so much knowledge of it, and what you already being a personal trainer, it makes it even better.
Yeah.
Really
so now it pretty much forced me to connect virtually, but that's something that I've always wanted to do, because there's so many people out there who can benefit from what you have to offer, but it's a matter of connecting with them. Right?
Yes.
So being that my doors were closed down, is like, okay, so how are you going to help your people? How are you going to help your current clients and those who still need help? It's COVID-19, it's locked down and shut down, but people still need help, So it forced me right away to take it to online. Girl, I put the millennials to shame, because I'm still a millennial. I just made the cut, but I create a Facebook page and link things to there. I mean, I've been all Instagram and whatever. So I feel like it just forced me to connect with people in a whole nother way. It's like, okay, you shut down, but what are you gonna do about it? Because life still goes on,
Yes, it does. It's like you got to figure out solutions for you to keep going instead of just being so confined.
Yes, because yes, I can cry, I can be upset, I can be sad over what just happened to me, right?
But what are you going to do about it?
But what am I going to do about that? All I'm going to do is be stuck in bed, eating ice cream, watching shows, crying, upset, whatever it is. It's not going to do anything, to help the situation.
It ain't going to change nothing but your emotions.
Exactly. So I just took on another approach. And I turned lemons into lemonade, whatever saying you want to use, it worked. That's what I did. And it wasn't easy.
I bet it wasn't.
And then, you got to be there for your people. And I think that's another thing that we have to make reference to. You're suffering during this time, right? But you still have people that count on you.
Yeah.
Right? For many of us, we're the heads of our household. We're the big sister to the little sisters and brothers. We are that heir to your girlfriend who's going through it all the time and calls you the same time in the morning to vent. You still in some way, you feel obligated to be there for other people, but you're suffering.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like for many of us, we just had to be support to one another.
Yeah. I feel like it's also a time for everybody to get to know themselves
I agree.
and put themselves first, and can, communicate and interact with your children, for families to get closer and traditional like
I
it used
agree.
to be. How you were saying you had a full community of people looking
Right.
out for you as a young child, so that this is that full community that we have now, our inner circle, our families.
I think so too. I think that is definitely one of the positives. I
Yeah.
think that is one of the positives. And I've heard it put well, many people have stated it forced us all to just stop, right? Like when would New York have shut down anyway like this?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it looks like we're in a state of emergency, and it took a state of emergency, for many of us to just stop.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we don't, we would rather not have to experience something like this for that to happen. But for many of us, that's the only way that we were able to just stop and just focus and just be quiet for a moment. And that speaks volumes on so many different levels to where,
Yes, it does.
like,
Yes, you can humble yourself.
girl, I was humble before, but I'm more humble now. I got extra confidence now that I didn't have before. Because girl, listen.
God, like you better straighten up.
I'm walking the straight and narrow. Right now, from this point forward, God, whatever you want me to do, I'm doing it. I'm telling you, I am humble. I come to you humbly. You are totally ready to help you get it together. It will get you all the way together.
Yes. So what's some words of encouragement that you could share with individuals that's watching now?
I know this experience, like I said, is trying for many of us. And you can't underestimate what someone's going through because there's no comparison. There's no comparison to pain. There's no comparison to hurt. So I'm not making light of it. I'm not being insensitive to the fact that my people are hurting. I'm hurting, But I want people to know that in a time of adversity, there's also opportunity. Mm-hmm. I have figured out a way to tap into a whole nother market stream, which will generate a whole nother income stream for me and my family. I was forced to it from COVID-19, right? So I'm saying all of this to mention that in the face of adversity, there could also be opportunity. But the difference between the two is the mindset. Are you going to let it knock you down and take you down and keep you down? Or are you going to let it knock you down, get a bruise or two or three, and get back up and find solutions?
Yeah.
So for me right now, I know it's hard, but we have to focus our mindset. We have to change our mindset so that way we can turn it around. That's the focus, all on the mindset.
Yeah. And it's like huge shout out to many of the families that have lost a loved one during this time, or loved ones are still, suffering it. So it's really sad. It's a serious, memorable moment.
Yeah, something we would never forget,
Yeah, definitely.
But because this thing is bigger than us, I think now is the time to just focus on strengthening yourself, using the things that keep you your best. Now is the time to turn to it. So for some of us, that's our spiritual beliefs, meditation, support from loved ones, therapy, whatever it is that keeps you whole on a day-to-day basis. This is the time to not be ashamed. This is the time to seek help. Mental health and mental illness is real, especially in our Black communities.
Yes, it is.
So this is the time to not be ashamed if you need help. This is the time to not be afraid to seek help because everyone needs it in some way or the other.
Yes.
So my best words of advice is this is the time to turn to community. We spoke about in the beginning of this interview how community impacted me at a young age and how it kept me on course to where I am right now. This is a time where we have to change things and we have to go back to that community and seek help and resources. My fitness program alone is saving lives, and it's on a small scale. I'm interacting with my clients daily, clients who have lost people. I text them, I check on them daily. So I have used my platform to be support. And I think that that's the biggest tool that's going to help everyone get through this. Utilize your support and the things that you need to keep you grounded on a daily basis, because this is a fight that is set up to where you may not win all alone.
Right. Right. The most definitely. So I know you have to get into your class in a minute.
Yes. Tonight is boot camp. I pushed it back a little bit, but tonight is boot camp. I provide a private Zoom link for the participants. We are gearing up for our 30-day Get Sculpted challenge for the month of May. And I've just been a vessel. I've just been a support. I'm pouring into people. I'm pumping them up. I'm getting them motivated, and just the feeling of being so strong that this won't break them. That's my job. That's what I've devoted this whole quarantine to do.
You sure do have the energy. I love your energy.
Thank you. It's so genuine. Sometimes I'm like, oh girl, cut it down a little bit. I'll be up and don't give me coffee or something. My clients, they be like, did you have a coffee today? They try to check, what Tamika they gonna get when they walk in.
Yeah, what Tamika on the day?
I'm excited. I mean, like I said, if this thing didn't break me, I'm almost feeling as if there's not much that can,
Yeah.
And because of that, and I'll let you wrap it up, I feel like I have a second win.
That's what you're ready to say. You got a whole other second win.
Yes.
You're going to be on like that Martin episode when he was
oh my gosh.
when acting up in the dang old gym.
Yes, oh my God. And I know they like, really? Really, Tamika? Oh my God.
Well, thank you, Tamika.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Yes, I will. I'm following you already.
Good. So we can keep in touch, and you're
Yes.
in Ohio, and I'm wishing you all the best there and safety. So listen, girl, you're going to have to tune in and let us New Yorkers know how it's going in Ohio.
Yeah.
As you stated, May 1st, your lockdown is over.
Whew, I know. Yes, we got some restrictions, but them little bit of some,
Yeah.
it means a lot from the others.
Yes.
I'll keep you posted, definitely.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm wishing you safety, prosperity, all the good things. And we're just going to take on the rest of 2020 with everything that we have, because again, it was definitely rocky. It's not over. But we're going to gear up and we're going to take on the rest of it with everything we have left.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm Tamika from Body by Tamika. I hope that you all follow me so you can stay in touch and support the movement.
Yes. Y'all see her way at the bottom. Y'all can follow.
Yes. Let's help each other. Let's change the trajectory in our communities. Let's lessen the health disparities in our communities. And, let's really just try to let's put that community back together, like I mentioned. Now is the time. Now is the time. Check on your neighbor.
See, look, you clapping already.
Oh, gosh. Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.